John Hankey is an independent documentary filmmaker. He teaches how history really unfolded and exposes conspiracies you didn't know existed. His films cover a wide array of topics, including the JFK assassination, the Rothschilds, October 7th, and Trump's failed assassination attempt. Put on your headphones, grab your tinfoil hat, and get ready to learn how the world really operates with John Hankey.
If you're against the deep state, if Trump is against the deep state, this guy that he just made, he's getting ready to make head of the FBI. I forget his name. Yeah, it's the guy, Kash Patel. He's South Asian, as is the modern way to refer to people of South Asian descent. I don't know if he's Pakistani or Indian, and in any case, um, genetically, I don't know that you can distinguish Pakistanis from North Indians. Anyway, he says, oh, he announces his enemies list, and his enemies list are people who worked on prosecuting Trump for calling up the governor of Georgia and saying, find me 30,000 votes. Well, where is he supposed to find them? Well, he's supposed to go find a box and he's supposed to put 30,000 votes in, and he's supposed to find it and open it up and say, oh, look, we found it. So he's asking this guy to steal the election, steal it back if you will, but steal it nevertheless. And you're going to go after the guys who were investigating and getting ready to prosecute this. It's all out there in the open, right? I don't know that there isn't there's certainly a transcript of the phone call. If there isn't a recording, I believe there's probably. Oh, all right. And you have the governor that the governor says that's what he thought he was being asked to do, and he refused to do it. How are those guys? How are the lawyers who are investigating that deep state? It seems to me that they're trying to make the state be legitimate. If you're investigating real election fraud, uh, arrest Cheney, right? Well, Trump, Bush Jr. Is it a stupid? I forget why I was reading this the other day. I was reading this detailed account of Bush's activities while he was in the Florida classroom, and they were discussing how he said that he saw the first plane hit the World Trade Center, and as he is discussing where and when he saw it, that was the time that the first plane was hitting the World Trade Center. But apparently, there was a closed circuit television set that none of us have ever had access to, and I don't think that. I think that Bush Jr. was a cutout. That right, he was an affable, beer drinking, jovial guy who people would vote for because he seemed non-threatening. Because really, essentially, he was too stupid to be threatening, and he wasn't involved in 9/11. I don't believe to any large extent, other than they tell him what to say and he would say it. But Cheney, Mineta, the guy's last name is, I think it's Leon, but I can't be. Mineta testified in front of the Senate how he was talking to Cheney, and some poor little soldier comes running in the room and says, Sir, there's a plane approaching the Pentagon, a hijacked plane approaching the Pentagon, and it's 50 miles out. And Cheney says, get out of here. And the guy says, okay, and leaves and comes running back in a few minutes later and says, Sir, it's 20 miles out. And Cheney says, get out of here, says Panetta. And then the soldier comes running back and says, Sir, it's 10 miles out. And Cheney says, get out of here. And the soldier says, Sir, do the orders still stand? And Panetta says that Cheney whips his head around angrily. He used the word whips his head around angrily and says, have you heard anything to the contrary? And the soldier says, no. And Cheney says, well, then, of course, the order still stands. And the soldier leaves and the plane crashes into the Pentagon. And you have to wonder what's the order? Well, the Pentagon is the most, as I mentioned, heavily defended piece of real estate on the planet. I worked for Lockheed for a minute. And when I was working there, I studied U.S. air defense a little bit. And the notion that they didn't fire a shot The thing does a 240-degree turn around the Pentagon. And, they could have shot at it when it was 50 miles out, and 40 and 30 and 20 and 10. And then it did this turn around the Pentagon, and they didn't fire a shot the whole time because there was clearly an order, a standing order not to fire. Panetta doesn't say that, and I don't fault him for not saying that, and the senators don't say that. Oh my God. Anyway, prosecute Cheney, and I will say, oh, this guy's really going after the deep state, but you're gonna, oh my goodness.
Now that you know where we've been, find out where we're going. Tune in to Ladies Love Politics, where you can stay informed without going insane.